the Mustang GT 2019. This one's a premium with the performance pack level 1. So this week, Mustang GT, you know, I know my Mustangs. I used to own a Mustang. I used to work with Ford. You know, I was really in touch with Mustang Group, Mustang Club, either in the US or Canada. While I was working with Ford back in the day in the auto shows, we used to do a lot of things with the Mustang Club of each cities. So I know a lot about Mustang, you know, a lot about the community, and all you guys are fan of Mustang. So this week, Mustang. So the Mustang for me now in 2019, it's really a sport car. It's not a muscle car anymore. I could say, you know, back in the day, yes, the Mustang was a muscle car, a pony car. But today's, you know, the Mustang or either the Camaro are really sport cars. The only one who really left were are truly muscle cars, the Dodge Challenger. But you know, otherwise, with the sharp handling, the performance that Mustang deliver, it's truly a sport car. When we look at Dodge Challenger, the size of it, the weight, you know, the seats, the trunk and everything, it's just the shape of it, it's truly a muscle car. So in 2019 for me, you know, the Mustang is truly a sport car and plays with some of more expensive cars performance wise. It's always a good bargain, you know, if you want to get into a sport car for a lower cost. The Mustang's always a great choice for the value. The Mustang I'm driving this week is pretty well equipped. You know, it's in the I-50, almost 60,000 Canadian. It's a great car. If you look at the exterior of this car, it's Orange Fury. It's a really flashy color, but you know, it's a classic color for a Mustang. You got some racing stripes on it matching with the black wheels. It's a great match for this car. I really like it. You got that new fascia in the front. It started in 2018 and now 19. Personally, I prefer the previous generation, the 2015 to 2017, or either the 2014 or prior of that. For me, this new front end, you know, it really looks like, again, a sport car, not a muscle car. You know, it's kind of too pointy, you know, those new headlights and all that. And some things you guys have maybe noticed, and it's kind of weird. If we look at the Shelby GT350 or the Shelby GT500, they kept the look of the 2015 to 2017 models, the same headlight and all that, the one I prefer. I'm glad the Shelby kept that look, but it's kind of strange, you know, they didn't go with the new look of the Mustang. So for me, it's kind of confusing, and you know, it's a weird move by Ford. Right, performance wise, you know, we've got the infamous V8 5-liter Coyote under the hood, good for 460 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque. Really good engine. I love the Coyote. It loves to rev high. I like the way it reacts, the power it delivers, the sound of it. You know, it's an engine who loves to scream. It's the second generation of the Coyote. In 2018, at the same time, they changed the front fascia of the Mustang. They added a new generation of Coyote. So it's an updated version of the Coyote. So you got more power, more stuff inside of it. You've got also dual injection now, a bunch of things. A really good engine. The one I'm driving this week, it's a 6-speed manual. For me, it's one of the weakness of the Mustang GT. The Getrag 6-speed transmission. For me, I don't like the way it shifts. It feels weak. Just the way I'm shifting gear, it reacts with the clutch and all that. It's not the best, I could say. And also a lot of guys in the community, drag racing and all that, they had a lot of trouble with that transmission. So again, you know, even the car I'm driving this week, I can tell the second gear I've been, you know, the guy's been pushing it hard a little bit, and kind of like hard to get in the second gear. So again, you know, for me, the Getrag, it's the down point. It's too sad, you know, Ford's been, you know, putting that transmission in GT for a while now. Before, they always used to deal with Tremec. Tremec do an awesome transmission. Also, you know, if we look at the SHELBY GT350, they use Tremec transmission, and in the new GT500 there's also a new sequential transmission. I never drove it. I don't think right now, while I'm saying this, there's a lot of people who drove the new GT500. But again, you know, I wish they could upgrade that transmission to something more solid. So it's one of the first time I could say I would recommend, you know, buying the automatic transmission. You get the 10-speed transmission. It's a really good transmission. 10-speed transmissions are really solid transmission. It can offer you a better performance, better fuel economy, and overall that transmission is more solid. And you know, the Mustang, it's legendary to be modified, play with. So if you want to add more power, play with it, tune it. The 10-speed transmission always gonna be able to handle more power and also being tuned with the power and all of that. So it's always a big plus. You know, regarding the COYOTE, you can easily put 750 horsepower with a supercharger. I know Roush and Ford Performance do a kit, a supercharger kit, and you get more than 700 horsepower, and it's under warranty. So it's really tough to beat once you buy a base GT and you had like a 10 grand with the supercharger. You know, power wise, for money wise, it's really hard to beat. All right, option wise, you know, you've got two interesting performance pack. You can get the level 1 and level 2. So this one's got the level 1. You got the 19 inches wheels on it, the black one, really good looking. Inside of these wheels you can find the Brembo brakes, 6-piston, really powerful brakes, giving you the braking power you need for this Mustang. This Mustang is not light, you know, it's around 3,800 pounds, a little bit more. So you get, you know, you need these Brembos if you're serious about braking, or if you do some lapping or racing. I recommend getting at least the level 1 of the performance pack. Also, with the performance pack, you've got tuned suspension, sway bars, tie bar, all that. You get a more rigid, you know, structure, more rigid car, better handling and all that. But the big plus when you step up to the level 2, you can get the MagneRide. The MagneRide, it's an adaptive suspension. So on just with a touch of a button, you can change the dynamic of the suspension if you want it to be more smooth or more aggressive, if you want it to be more rigid. Just with a touch of a button, in less than a second, it will change automatically. All the dampers and all that will react. It's a big plus, you know, for me. I love these MagneRides. I think they're the best suspension you can get on the market on a stock, you know, car. If you're looking to, you know, daily drive this thing, or just bring it in country roads or on the road trip, it's the perfect suspension. If you're hardcore, you know, doing some lapping and all that, maybe you should get just the normal suspension and upgrade it for a racing suspension. But otherwise, I'm a big fan of the MagneRide. Also inside you can find the Recaro seats. These seats are optional. They're really nice and tight, you know, if you need more support. For me, they're a little bit too tight. I'm a large guy, kind of tighten these Recaro seats. They're really nice looking. You got those little hole here you can put through your racing belt and all that. But you know, if you ever drove Focus ST or Edge ST and all that, the seats are really similar. They're really narrow, a little bit too narrow for me. I don't know if I would buy this Mustang with these seats. So if you're a little bit larger, just like me, maybe the Recaro is not the best choice for you. Something I really like about these new Mustang, it's really the way you can adjust everything. You know, you can play with how the engine's gonna react, the suspension and all that. So again, if you've got the MagneRide, when you change your modes, it's gonna adapt the suspension with the modes you put it in. So if you say you gotta put it in Sport or Sport Plus, you know, the mapping of the engine, transmission if you have the automatic one, the suspension if you've got the Magna Ride will change completely. And something I really like, and I wish I had this when I was younger, it's the variable exhaust. So the exhaust can change the sound, the note of it, I could say. It can get louder, so you can get in the silent mode, in normal mode, in sport mode, or in track mode. Track mode, obviously it's a truck only use and it's the loudest. It's really nice, you know. I got into trouble several times when I was younger with my previous Mustang, with my Raptor and all that, especially with the police, my neighbors, etc. So I think this is fantastic if you need some sound or you're at the track, you want it to be loud. But if you're early in the morning or really late at night for your neighbors, you don't want to wake up the kids, you put it in silent mode and you crawl back, you know, silently into your driveway. I think this is fantastic. You can adjust also the steering wheel, so you got different modes. Your steering wheel will get more aggressive, more tight. Once again, it's really fantastic. All that you can adjust it by pressing the little Mustang logo on your steering wheel. Once you press on this, you can adjust everything, so you can mix and match all you want it. Let's say you want a really aggressive steering wheel, but you want to put your exhaust in the normal mode, you can do it. Or and when you click it, it's going to put it all at the same level, but you can put your preference inside of it. Otherwise, the screen and everything underneath the screen, it kind of feel outdated. Once again, all the Ford models, you know, the metal console and all that, there's no really a place to put your phone or wireless charging. All these buttons feel kind of old also, and I think this is one of the first things they're going to change in the next generation of Mustang. Again, you know, it's not bad looking, it's just now these days in 2019, 2020, you know, in other brands, other model, these looks way better and more practical. So again, you know, it feels more 2015 than 2019. For me, this is like the down point of the interior. Again, you got the Sync 3. It's a good system, not my favorite, but it works well. Again, this week he asked me to be, you know, plugged to the Wi-Fi for an update. Every time I was starting the car, he was asking me for the Wi-Fi. Again, it's something I found kind of annoying, and it's something I don't experience in my GM products I own. So last season of test drive, I drove a Camaro SS1LE, and I really love the experience with the Camaro. Even if I was a Ford Mustang owner and you know, I was involved in all the community and everything, I love my experience with the Camaro. And truly, you know, this week I didn't appreciate as much my experience as the one I got with the Camaro SS1LE last year. Truly, you know, the way, you know, if we compare these two transmission-wise, the Camaro is way better, especially with the rev match. It's so fun to drive. The steering wheel, the handling and everything in the Camaro is way better. And I know from some of you guys, you are Mustang hardcore fan, but listen to me, it's really like you need to try something else than a Mustang. Even if you only drove Mustang all your life, and even if you got the tattoo and everything, you live Mustang, it's fun to drive something else than the Mustang, to compare it. You know, the Camaro and the Mustangs are really similar cars, so sometimes even if you're a hardcore Mustang fan, it's fun to drive something else. It's fun to see what the enemy is doing. And for me, even if I spend tons of years hating on the Camaro, you know, I truly love the experience I've got with the Camaro, and I was surprised. So hopefully by the end of this season, I'm gonna drive a powerful Mopar like the Challenger or the Charger to see at the end of the year which one I really prefer. Is it the Mustang, the Camaro, or the Challenger? I need to drive that Challenger to tell you guys which one is my favorite.